Good morning, everyone. Today we're gonna be focusing on baby led weaning. Sage has been doing this since she was 6 months old. She's 8 months old now, and honestly, it's been such a great experience. So today we're gonna show you what she eats in a day. What? Do you want to eat? Yeah. So we're gonna show you what she eats in a day. Keep in mind she eats 2 meals, not 3 meals. I'm probably gonna introduce a third meal around the 10-month mark. So, do you want me to start cooking? Yeah. I'm gonna eat your things for breakfast. All right, let's eat, love. Good morning, everyone. Look at your eyes. I love you. Okay, so what Sage is having for breakfast is oatmeal with organic wild blueberries, organic mashed banana, a pinch of cinnamon, probably like a tablespoon of nut butter that has coconut in it, and about a teaspoon or a little bit more of a teaspoon of vegan yogurt. And then she also has her organic banana. So one thing about baby-led feeding is that it's probably the messiest way of feeding because you just have to give them the food and let them experiment, let them explore. So you just give it to them in a bowl, in a play, or even on their little high chair table, and just let them observe, let them taste, let them, you know, squish it just to feel the textures. It's all about them exploring. They're supposed to be looking at it, tasting it, squishing it, throwing it, like all sorts, and you're just supposed to let them do their thing and clean them after they're done eating. So, as you can see, don't touch the camera. It is pretty messy. Oh my goodness. You like to get dirty, eh? So we have the Biaba Baby Cook, and it's really good for making purees, but it's also good for steaming. So we solely just use this to steam her veggies and her fruits to make it nice and soft so that it's not a choking hazard and that it's easy for her gums to chew. So right now I'm going to use it for her broccoli because that's what she's going to have for her lunch. It's literally one of her favorite foods. What Sage is having for lunch today is quinoa with broccoli, zucchini, and avocado, and all of it is organic. So Sage is eating this, and I'm eating this. So I have the quinoa, the avocado, the zucchini, and then I just added some black beans, and I made a sauce to just pour over it as well. So we are eating pretty similar. Yummy. So parents, if you have issues with food getting on the floor, get yourself a high chair mat that goes underneath the high chair, so you can easily just like throw in the laundry once they're done eating. I'm actually definitely going to buy one, especially after today. Oh my gosh. Ooh, where's your food? On the ground? Yeah. There's her spoon. There's her food. There's her food. But honestly, I just laughed. Because you just gotta laugh. Right? You just gotta laugh about it. Okay, so for the bibs, really like the baby Bichon bibs. First off, the colors are super, super cute, but they are very, very deep. So when Sage drops food, it collects it super, super well. Very easy to clean, and then you just have to like tighten it or loosen it as you want. And it looks like Sage is wearing pearls when she eats. It's adorable. For the bowls, I love Easy Peasy brand so, so much. So this sticks to the tray, so Sage can't lift it and throw it, which is so important. So I love it. It's like a suction. So it comes in like, there's different colors. We obviously chose the sage color, but it also has bowls that are in 3 different pieces. So if you put 3 different foods in there, there's different bowls, there's different cutlery. So we are definitely going to buy more from the brand. So yeah, so Sage just like has her oatmeal in here, her pasta, and then we put a piece of veggie or a piece of fruit just like on her tray because she's just holding it. So she doesn't really need an additional piece. That's for later. This is the Easy Peasy tiny cup. This is her first cup that she drank water from, and this is what she practiced like using on her own. So this is great. It's absolutely tiny and it's just adorable. So she loved it, but we did move to the sippy cup. So the sippy cup is from Hearability. They are an eco-friendly brand out from Europe, and I just really liked their brand, liked their values. It's eco-friendly, non-toxic, BPA free, and it comes in different colors, I believe, in blue and maybe green, but we really liked this, and this is what taught Sage how to drink from a straw. So it comes with a straw, but you can also remove the straw as well. So really love them. The spoon, I don't know the brand, but it's a wooden spoon. It's like her first spoon, and she did really well. But we will be getting the Easy Peasy cutlery set. I just want everything to kind of match. And I think it might be easier for her to just put food onto the spoon with the Easy Peasy one because it's a bit different here. And this is from Moss and Fawn. So we bought this right before we gave solids to Sage. I think it was close to when she was turning 6 months. This is awesome because it's a mesh feeder and it's for teething as well. So you put a frozen veggie or frozen fruit in here and you give them to the baby, and the baby just sucks on it, and there's like little mesh holes, so it safely dispenses pieces of the fruit or veggie into their mouth. And because it's frozen at the beginning, it soothes their gums during teething. So Sage really, really loved it. She still uses this when she goes and has teething pains and all that. Like I still give this to her, and I put blueberries or avocado. So we put avocado for the first time. So she loved it. And then once she was able to eat solids, we gave her avocado for her first food. So she kind of like related to it. So love this, highly recommend it before solids and even like during solids because they teeth for a very long time, and this really releases the pain from their gums. So Sage's high chair is Fisher Price that had a partnership with Jonathan Adler. So Jonathan Adler makes really cool, funky designs. He's really well known. So it was cool to see that he did a high chair. And we really liked this design. We love the fact that it's vegan leather. It's super comfortable. And honestly, it's really easy to clean. Like you just pull this out, you clean it, snap it back in. Sage is always nice and secure in there. There's a little footrest, and that's the only thing that I'm kind of like, I don't know about. Just because Sage does not reach this footrest and you can't move it up or down. It's just there. So that's the only thing. But other than that, like we really like it. It's very easy to clean. Like once Sage is done, we just wipe it down, and yeah. Keep in mind that we don't fasten Sage into her high chair when she eats, just because in case she was to choke, knock on wood, we don't want any issues and complications with the straps. Like what if it wasn't undoing and it got like tangled up? Like I don't even want to think about it, but I just want something that's not strapping her down, that we can easily pull her out of the high chair and it wouldn't cause any setbacks. Honestly, this keeps her secure. Like this isn't going anywhere. So Sage is very, very secured in there, even without her straps. Okay, so before the video comes to end, I just want to touch on some points in regards to baby led weaning. Just because I've had some friends, some family, and even some people that I don't know that have seen my Instagram posts of Sage like chowing down on broccoli and just having so much fun as she's feeding herself. So those questions were really, really good, and there were questions that I had as well before I started doing baby led weaning. So I did want to touch on a few points very quickly, just to see if I could provide any help if anyone is looking to do baby led weaning with their baby. Okay, so what is baby led weaning? Baby led weaning is allowing the baby to be independent and explore foods on their own. So they look at the food, the color, the size, the shape, the textures, they taste it, they throw it, they squish it, they do all sorts of stuff with the food. And it's all about them understanding the food and creating a healthy relationship with the food. The weaning part is them slowly weaning off breast milk or formula. So Sage is breastfed, and that's how she's getting her food, her nutrients, and all of that. My goal is to make it for 1 year. A tip that I got, which is obviously recommended, is to have the baby breastfeed or drink from a bottle, like their formula, as normal as they used to when you introduce solid foods. So just give them solid foods after you give them breast milk or formula. You don't want them to be hungry when you're giving solids, because they'll just be irritated because they're exploring their food, they're not eating that much. So they will be hungry and they'll be fussy and it'll be a stressful environment. So make sure to give them breast milk or formula before they try their solids. So we've had such a positive experience with baby led weaning. Sage has done super well exploring foods and trying all sorts of food. Like she has a long list of solid foods that she's tried. And it's just worked really well for our lifestyle. Josh and I are not picky eaters, and with baby led weaning, I've read a lot, and from parents that I know that have done this as well, baby is not picky eaters at all. Like they eat everything. So baby led weaning is like you make your food, and the food that you eat for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, that's what the baby eats as well. So how we have been feeding Sage is plant-based. We are introducing vegetarian diet to her just because Josh and I eat that way, and it's just what we are used to. And we've done our research before we turned vegetarian, and you know, the whole dairy meat industry and all that, like that's something that we don't want to be a part of, and we don't want to give that to Sage. Everyone eats differently. We just don't want to feed Sage that stuff. But honestly, we are very happy with the plant-based diet, and we have made the decision that once Sage can make her own decisions, she can eat however she wants. So if she doesn't want, oh yeah? So if she doesn't want to eat plant-based, then she can eat however she wants. She's her own human. Hopefully she'll like eating plant-based and she'll just continue with it. But if not, then that's fine. After she turns 1 year, I will be bringing her to see a dietitian just to make sure that we create a good meal plan and that I know that she's receiving the right amount of nutrients, that she's getting enough calcium, protein, and all of that. So I will make sure that she is doing great on a vegetarian diet. I got my levels checked when I turned vegetarian, and I was high on all levels, no deficiencies, nothing. So the naturopath was very impressed with that. So I have done my research in eating properly. Obviously, adults and babies are different, and that's why I will be bringing her to a dietitian just to make sure that, you know, we move forward in the right way. So the first solid food that we gave Sage was avocado, then it was banana, then sweet potato, butternut squash, and then literally the list goes on and on and on. Like she's tried a whole variety of different foods. As I mentioned, her favorite food right now is broccoli. But yeah, I think you really like all sorts of food, okay? So just keep in mind that if you are feeding your baby purees, good for you. Like honestly, whatever works for you and your baby, that's what's number one. I'm just speaking out of what worked for us, and because baby led kind of just like was something I was really interested in, and I did a lot of research. I got a book, which I will put in the description below. I talked to a dietitian, and I read a lot of trusted resources online. And I talked to people who actually are doing baby led, just to understand like how it worked for them. And it was something that we were really interested in, that fits her lifestyle. It's something I really wanted Sage to be a part of, just having fun and exploring foods and creating that independence when it comes to feeding herself. But if you feed your baby purees, that's fine. All that's important is that your baby's eating, you know? Don't compare yourselves to other parents. Don't compare your baby to other babies. Honestly, it's what works for you and your baby. That's number one. So no parent shaming. Every family is different and everyone is doing what's best for themselves. So keep doing you, and that's all that matters. Okay, I put Sage down because my arms and hips are hurting me. I'm actually having like a lot of lower back issues. So as she gains more weight, I don't know what I'm gonna do. But she's just playing over there. Okay, so one more thing, a question that someone asked me, as well as I had before I introduced baby led weaning, is what about gagging and choking? So obviously, it's so important to do your CPR training. Josh and I did our CPR training before Sage was born, and then we did a refresher course online right before we introduced solids to Sage, so that it was like fresh in our mind and that we knew the techniques just in case something happened. So what we learned is that choking and gagging are two separate things. So choking is when they're not breathing, they're struggling, they're not making any noise, and you can tell that they are not conscious. This is when you pull them out of their high chair and you perform the CPR techniques. Gagging is when they're coughing, they're alert, they're breathing, they're making noise, they're conscious, but they're just coughing to get the food out. That's when you let them be. You don't pull them out, you don't do CPR techniques, you just let them be, and they will cough it up. So Sage has had probably just like 1 or 2 times where she had like a coughing fit. And yeah, I got anxiety, like I really wanted to pull her out and be like, okay, how can I help you? But honestly, when they are coughing, like you can cause more issues if you intervene. If they are alert and they're doing their thing, you let them be. And she coughed it up and she was totally fine. She was actually smiling and laughing while she was coughing. So that kind of calmed me down. I was like, what's going on? But yeah, just keep in mind that choking and like gagging, coughing are 2 separate things. But just make sure that when you do feed your child, you are beside them. You are watching every food that goes into their mouth. You are just making sure that all their food is cut properly, that it's soft, and that they're handling it in the best way, and that you're there by their side, all eyes on them, no distractions. So that's another thing, is like don't have the TV on, don't have music blasting, don't have people like making noise and like trying to get her attention. Just literally have a quiet environment, stress-free environment. Don't have her facing the TV, just let her focus on what she is eating and exploring the food, and just be by her side or his side, and just make sure that, you know, it's a calm environment for the baby. Okay, so please keep in mind that whatever I have mentioned in this video, this is what works for our family, and Sage has been doing really well with this form of feeding. And if you have any questions, like I encourage you to do your own research, talk to a professional. I'm not a professional, I'm just speaking from experience and what works for us. So just make sure that you have that in mind. I'm just here to give some suggestions and some tips, and obviously here if you have any questions. Thanks so much for watching our video. We hope you liked it, and we hope you learned a few things about baby-led feeding. And if you have any questions, please feel free to message me. I'm here to help as much as possible. She wants to go outside. It's literally 30 degrees out, so we are gonna go and enjoy the sun. And yeah, thanks so much for watching. Please give it a thumbs up. And if you like our videos, please don't forget to subscribe. All right, ready to go? All right, see you soon. Bye.